Fucking
We're going to be
lost
cooking
myself.
up some gammon today. Now we're going to be roasting this gammon. And what we're going to do is get some really nice diamond shapes.
Hello there.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages, and a recommitment to the two-state solution.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
Gets the people going.
It's
No,
disgusting.
that's enough! Why do you...
They're the Free Wales Army, Lana.
Yeah, that's right, David. Good lad.
Leg hurts.
Yes, it will do, Dav. You've been shot.
My name is Jeff.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Me too, kid.
This is a safe place. It's a place where we can feel free sharing our feelings. Think of my office as a nest in a tree of trust and understanding. We can say anything here.
Anything.
I like turtles.
What is it? Supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
Look at him. He runs like a Welshman. Doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
Hello. Welcome to the stream. How's it going, guys? Good to see you all here.
Hello.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say, don't you, Dad?
I know what you're going to say. I'm
You know what
hot.
I'm going to say. It's hot. It's so
Yeah.
hot. It's hot.
Every time I spoke to you today, every sentence has been, I'm hot. I'm hot. I either started or ended the conversation with the words, I'm hot. How are you today, Slowbach?
Hot. I've been hot, Dad. It is literally 30 degrees in here. Let me have a look at my thing.
Yes, on a Monday.
Let me have a look. 29.5 at the moment. It's getting a little cooler, but we are getting to that point of the day. Oh my God, heat waves, man. Oh,
What are they like?
So great that you're not one of those people that is constantly banging on about the summer of 76. Like, oh my God.
Do you remember the summer? Oh, no, you don't, do you?
No, I don't.
I think it was the summer of 74 when everywhere was crunchy underfoot with the ladybirds. 8.5 crow, yeah? 8.5, shut up. Shut it. You horrible little man. Was it? Oh no, how did he go? How sad. Too bad. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh, do you know what? I've come prepared this time. Although I fully expect all of my equipment to fail due to extreme heat, I've managed to keep everything completely turned off until the last couple of minutes before stream.
Yeah.
And I've also got some frozen sports drinks and things that are mostly frozen. So hopefully I don't overheat. But I'm not going to lie, because it's been so hot, because of everything else that, day-to-day life and stuff, this stream is going to be the chillest of chill streams ever. Oh.
Okay.
On that note, let's all go to sleep. It's the sleep stream today. Also, it's a bloody eclipse today, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, because it is. Yeah. This is the day when quite a lot of people will ask, what's going on? I mean, they will. But a lot of people just aren't aware of what's happening and that it's planets out there and that the moon's a planet. And I don't know what the flat earthy boys are going to do. I guess they're just going to not look. What time does it happen? Do you know?
I believe that it's like sort of between 6 and 8, around 7-ish. I'm not 100% too sure.
Okay. Well, you can play out till it goes dark.
I have access to the wide web. What time is the solar eclipse today? Between 7 p.m. and 8:30 local time. So I think we're probably going to be finishing before 7 because I want to go see it. Plus, we've got a stream at 7:30.
But you won't have to go and see it. It will come to you.
I suppose it will. Yeah, I suppose it will. Do you know what, Dad? We were talking about. I was talking.
What the heck's happening? Alexa, stop! What the heck?
Whoa, what is going on? Alexa, play fart noises. Did it work?
Yeah, that was a cheeky one, it said. Alexa, stop. It went. That was a cheeky one. I don't know what set that off. Something.
So, I was just talking today about the other day about the eclipse and stuff. And do you remember that? I vaguely remember. We went down to where the bottom fields are, where we used to live in the village?
You don't remember that because you were just playing in the mud. Me and your mum took your kids down to watch.
Yeah, all right then. Before you say it, let me say the things that I wouldn't have known unless I was there. So we went down to the bottom field at the area where, at that point, I can't remember what it was that they were doing down there, but they had loads of excess mud. They were digging something up to create something, so they dumped it and made all these hills. And I remember not understanding too much of what was going on, but I do remember going down there with you and Mum. That was 1999, wasn't it?
I can't remember when that was, honestly, but you were too young to understand. I think
I don't remember what it looked like. I don't remember anything much more than.
None of you understood it. We took you all down there. We sat you down and.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember you.
You wouldn't get scared and all that stuff, and you just wandered off playing in the day.
But I remember, what I do remember though is the feeling of like you were trying to import, like, this is quite a big big moment for people. This is a big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was in 1999.
Well, so when we first started predicting these things, when we first worked out how to predict this whole business, that's when we were exploring the world with sailing ships and stuff, and we were convincing people who we came across that if you didn't do what we said, our great queen or king or whoever will make the sun go away. And they could say, and they knew when it was going to happen, so they could make threats like that to natives and stuff that they came across. And when it actually happened, when the eclipse happened, like these guys would believe that the English king or queen was a god.
So I think what I remember very specifically was a story of Christopher Columbus. You remember lovely Christopher Columbus, just a humble explorer who found an entire land that already had people on it. That dude, at one point I can't remember what it was for, but he was trying to sway something or other, and if they didn't do what he'd asked or directed them to do, that he would, with the queen or whatever, he would remove the sun from the sky because he knew that there was an eclipse coming because they sailing and they just about had that knowledge. So yeah, it was eclipses were used to dominate people with depression and things. Just terrible. But I wanted to quickly just jump into the chat a second though, because Michael, as per usual, what an absolute legend, has dropped yet another gifted membership.
So watching the Formula One race. Catch you later, Jim. I'll start. It's like a Formula One race between Michael.
Oh, and Dad's kicked himself out because that's what he does. But it is a very hot day, so we won't blame him. Thank you so much, Michael. And just looking in again. Thank you so much, Andy Luke, for that. Colombia, was it? Was that what it was? It was Colombian people. That he, just imagine that. Imagine. Columbus was a nonce, yeah. He absolutely was a nonce. Could you imagine, though, how terrifying that would have been? As somebody that doesn't have that particular knowledge set about eclipses and everything else. I mean, God, you would have believed him, wouldn't you? If you don't do what I say, I'll block out the sky, the sun from the sky, and then it happens. Like, because it's essentially a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's so scary, isn't it? Must have been so scary for him. I remember the eclipse of 99. Don't believe me, Dad. I remember it too. Not much of it, though. But I was there. Columbus was an auditor. No, a nonce. I know that some people, in some cases, those words can be synonymous with each other, but they're not. All right, stop doing that, guys. I was at an eclipse party in 99. randomly, a rather famous general turned up and proceeded to get very, very drunk. What social circles do you like operate in, Flow Snake, where you have access to generals getting pissed at eclipse parties in '99? I want your life. That sounds fucking hilarious. Do you want to turn your camera off, Dad? I literally can't hear a single word you're saying. I'm so sorry you're backstage. Give me a thumbs up. Do you want the camera on or off? Thumbs up for yes. There you go. Thumbs up for yes. But here he is.
I mean, yes, I don't want to. Look, guys, come on. What do you think?
Boom. I think you're rocking it, Dad. I think you're absolutely smashing it. Look at you.
Hey, so yeah, okay, you can turn me off now. I don't mind.
Well, you can turn your own camera off.
Just so you know, I mean, I had a shirt, a shave, and everything.
Check you out. It's too sweaty for me to get on camera today. I'm just literally a topless, sweaty mess at the moment.
I sat in the shower for quite a while, longer than I should have. It was really nice.
I am sweatier than. I won't go down that road. Everything I say is terrible.
I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. Just terrible. You turned your camera back on if you're supposed to turn it off.
Oh, okay. I'll just leave it.
Leave it if you want. That's absolutely fine. There's no problems at all. So today we've got a headline rundown for you. I sent Dad away to do his homework on that, so this should be hilarious. What have you got in the headlines, Dad? And then after that, once we do that, we've got Berkeley to get through, and we're going to introduce you to the Nazis, and we'll go through the UK's neo-Nazi scene. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Fun times. It's always fun when the Nazis are around.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready. Oh, yeah, just tell me when you're ready. I'll read it out. I've got some headlines.
You've got some headlines. All right, then. Well, I don't know what's going on, so I don't have any links prepared or anything. So I'm going to hit the button and then let you do your thing. Boom.
There we go. So there's one of the places. One of the headlines I've got is from Oban, Argyll. Argyll and Butte, of course. Police officers were called to Queen's Park Place. I mean, this is serious shit. Near Station Square in Oban, Argyll on Butte on Saturday. This was June 27th because it's up in court, I think. After onlookers raised the alarm, reports claim that a man grabbed 2 seagulls from the street and he allegedly used one to attack another person. There was no evidence of the birds being injured in the incident. So I don't know what he was doing with 2 seagulls, though. Maybe he was using one like a shield and the other like a sword?
No, it says he was using one to beat the other.
No, one to beat another person. He used one seagull to attack another person. According to the Oban Times, the man wasn't actually arrested, but he was taken home by the police while further inquiries were carried out, and he was charged later.
No, he wasn't. This isn't real.
This
isn't real. No way.
No, this is for real. A spokesman for Police Scotland said a man was charged in connection with an assault on Queen's Park Place in Oban, which was reported to police around 5 p.m. A report will be submitted to the prosecutor fiscal. So there you go. Man attacks other man in seaside town with seagull. I mean, we have enough trouble in Rill with the buggers jumping off the walls at you and pinching your crisps and stuff. But having somebody pick them up and hit you with them,
that's a pretty damn effective weapon. I'm just reading now. This comes courtesy of the Scotsman. I just had a quick look.
Yeah.
And they're saying a man was charged in connection with assault on Queen's Park Palace in Oban, which is reported to the police around 5 p.m. So this is the story of the seagull assault, as we'll call it. And it says here, which I find really hard to believe, it says that it says that there was no evidence of the seagulls being injured.
Yeah, I know, that's rubbish.
There's no way you could use a seagull as a fucking bat to attack another person and the seagull's just fine.
Yeah. Oh, shame.
So what they know? Did the guy keep hold of the seagull, or did they just find another seagull and be like, they all look alike? This seagull's flipping sound.
Well, he picked up 2. That's what I get. I can't understand if he's used one as a shield, and the other one as a sword, with which to attack the other bloke, and use the other shield, the other bird, for self-defense. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god.
So yeah, this is what happened when you let me alone with the internet. Loch Ness sightings are up massively the last year or so.
Dad, why have we never got you to do the headline rundown before? This is amazing. Loch
No.
Ness sightings are up, aren't they?
So I'll tell you what's brought it out. They found a camera that's been, it was a monster, Loch Ness monster hunting underwater camera. This is also Scottish Daily Express. A camera was found. They lost it back in 1970. They were deploying these cameras at different depths, I think, across the loch. And there was a big storm came and they lost some. 3 were lost during the gale, and there were only 6. So it's actually quite rare, this. And they found this camera, and it's been in the water 56 years. And they got it working. They've had it working on a program called The Repair Shop. I've known nothing about that, but after 55 years submerged in the depths of Loch Ness, they finally got it working again. And they've developed the film. Spookily, they don't say anything about the film, except to say that it was... I mean, the camera stayed 56 years, more than 130 meters below the surface. That's quite deep. That's deeper in the water than my drone's allowed to fly in the sky. You know, that's a long way. It was there 56 years and they haven't told us what's in it, what's on the thing. But I'm just saying.
I can tell you what it's not, Dad. It's not the Loch Ness bloody monster.
And do you know why it's not the Loch Ness monster? I'll tell you why it's not the Loch Ness monster. Because the Royal Navy caught it in World War II. There's a story here, again, Scottish Daily Express. The Loch Ness monster may have been caught by the Royal Navy. This is a serious report during the Second World War. And there's some extraordinary new evidence, apparently. So there was a chap who was serving on a, what do they call them things? Submarine nets. He was putting submarine nets around harbours and stuff. He was serving on a boat called, I can't remember, HMS Ocean Swell. Anti-submarine nets they were laying. Anyway, these are not my words. Well, they are now because I'm reading them, but not originally my words. Lewis Tyler, who served aboard the HMS Ocean Swell laying anti-submarine nets, is said to have caught a sea serpent in the gear during an operation at the famous Highland Loch. His grandson, John Gibbons, revealed the astonishing story, and he still has the letters to prove it. So there were letters to his great-grandfather from all kinds of people asking about what had happened. So apparently they were winching up these submarine nets, well, putting them down, and they had no idea what was going on, but they winched halfway out the water a sea serpent before the gear failed and it fell back in again. So there you have it. It was actually captured by the Royal Navy during World War II, and these letters apparently prove it.
Absolutely. So you know what, Dad? I'm convinced. That is exactly what went down.
Yeah, Mr. Tyler, the guy himself died in '75, but and what he's told investigators has never been published. See, you've got the letters from investigators to his grandfather, but not the ones from his grandfather back with all the juicy details in, which is a shame. But they will exist somewhere. Somebody called they called it a sea serpent. How about that?
Sea serpent, that's code for Loch Ness. I know it is. It's the Loch Ness monster. It's old Nessie, that's what it is. It's pretty damn fucking wild, though. I'm not gonna lie, that's well funny. Fair dues, this headline rundown's been particularly funny.
Okay, well, here's one that's not funny at all, and it's fucking people going swimming have been falling sick in their hundreds around the coast of Britain. This is an island swimming in a sea of shit now. I'm really, really, really angry and sad about this. There's no need. The only reason this is happening is greed. It's greed. It's giving your money to your shareholders instead of reinvesting money in the business itself. People have come in. The people that own these fucking water companies are just fucking. I mean, it's asset stripping, isn't it? Money being the asset. They're just dragging the money out of it, and this is what happens. Hundreds of beachgoers have fallen sick after swimming in UK waters, and it's all around the coast. It's everywhere. Every river in England is polluted with chemicals. Every single fucking river. But even blue spots now are getting covered in shit and stuff. It's no good. This is the worst.
Do you know what? As we're talking now, and we're saying that every river in England is poisoned at the moment. There's just something about not being able to eat money that just springs out. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? We're going to have empty rivers, empty seas, and turds bobbing along. We sold
off our most vital resources.
On the bottom of a beautiful brine, you see little turds bobbing along. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say we've sold off our most valuable resources and assets to corporate fucking greed, so that they can make short-term profit while the planet fucking suffers. Yeah. And now your rivers are full of poison, guys. Love a bit of capitalism, don't we? Which, by the way, while we're talking about it, socialism all day. Because let's face it, under capitalism, this is the natural conclusion.
This is what happens.
Of the system.
This is what happens in capital. Yeah. So the top 10 most reported locations for sickness of all time. This is from Surfers Against Sewage, SAS. It's top 10 most reported locations for sickness of all time. Exmouth, 203 reports. Hove, 140. Polzeath, 117. I've got Harlyn Bay, 101, and Harlyn Bay again at 98. I don't understand. There might be two Harlyn Bays. Tankerton, 94. Gillingervase, it looks like, 85. Shoreham Beach, 82. Worthing, 78. And Summerlees, 76. Those are the worst ever. 10 most reported locations for sickness of all time. We're literally
people just trying to get away from the heat wave that climate change has caused. Sorry, capitalism has caused. And if they do that, they've got a choice. You can either roast on the land, thanks to capitalism, or you can swim in the poisoned rivers, thanks again to capitalism.
Thanks to capitalism.
Everything's fine, nothing to see here.
It's killing. Literally, if you want to see what... I mean, your planet's dying right around you. It really is. These people taking fucking or giving shareholders big payoffs while all this shit's going on. You need imprisoning.
And a lot of these industries, including the water, are taking home like record-breaking bonuses. They're making huge profits, more so than they've ever done. And yet the service that they provide, which is one vital to life, has just dramatically decreased in terms of standards.
It's failed. Yeah.
It's absolutely failed, and this is the problem with capitalism. This is the thing that the endless pursuit of short-term profits is inherently a disgusting method of destroying the planet, and that's all it is. It's just another method with which you can destroy the planet, and the main reason for that is so. Like, think about it like this, right? So you've got a water company. The water company also manages waste as well as bringing water into your house. Now, do you spend a bunch of your money creating infrastructure that will safely pipe away all this waste into a nice non-hazardous, non-toxic form of destruction, or removing it and putting it away where it won't enter into our water systems and poison our rivers? Now, are you going to do that? Are you going to spend all the money to do that? Or are you just going to keep all of the money, enrich yourself, because that's what the capitalist system is about, and just fuck that off? Naturally, they go for the cheaper, more profit option.
People are greedy. He got some easy money. Yeah, please. It's just not another thought.
In fact, I remember a chairman of the board for one of the water companies, I can't remember which one, who was sat down, they were discussing exactly this, the poisoning of rivers. This was just a couple of years ago. And they were talking about the fines and things associated with them. So the person who was running the water company at the time was in some sort of committee being questioned, and he was making it very clear that it's okay to fine us. We will take those fines because it costs less to pay the fines than it does to build infrastructure.
Yeah. And they dare say that out loud as well. And,
exactly. And that right there is the core problem with capitalism. So at the moment, we've got like, okay, well, we will punish you if you destroy our ecology. But in order for you to not destroy our ecology, in order for you to get around it, you just got to pay these fines. Well, these companies are billionaires. They've got billions in assets, like unbelievable amounts of money. Paying these fines is nothing to them. They would rather pay the fines. They'd rather poison the river than have less profit. That's what capitalism is.
Yeah.
It allows.
People will not care. People do not care, and they won't care until they see their own children fucking choking to death. That's when they'll care. That people are fucking horrible. That's when they'll start to care, and that's when it's far too late. It fucking drives me mad, man. They're destroying everything. Fucking everything.
They are. Have you got any other headlines?
No, not really. I've got there was more violence. I know you're going to talk about Nazis and stuff, yeah, but this in Norfolk, the good folk of Norfolk apparently they were out again last night. Female police officer was seriously bitten.
Oh God!
Crowds trying to storm homes linked to asylum seekers during 3 nights of unrest in Norfolk.
Oh, so a pogrom.
Subjected to significant aggression during anti-immigration disorder in Thetford. Some asylum seekers had to be escorted from homes for their safety. Crowds shouted and attempted to gain access to some homes, with a small group managing to enter one, force a resident out and steal their phone. What the fuck? We're allowing these criminals, big bunches of criminals, to gather together and force their way into people's houses now, it seems.
Sadly, this isn't the first time this year in this particular setting. It's an all too common feature. We're seeing all these scumbags getting together and they're like, right, how can we fuck shit up? And do you know what? A lot of these times as well, where obviously the report that you're reading says that it's houses and things that were linked to asylum seekers. In many cases, they've just attacked places they think have asylum seekers in them because they saw a brown face once. Yeah. They're like that one we saw in Southampton or I think it was Southampton during the Henry Southport Southampton during the Henry Novak protest. We saw them attacking what was it now? It was a refuge type of place for vulnerable adults, possibly like a women's refuge. It was housing people in there, to get them ready to come back into society and to, learn how to live independently and things. But it wasn't an independent living situation. It was a HMO designed specifically to help vulnerable people, right? So because they heard the words the letters HM and O in the same sentence, they just assume brown and black people, let's go and fucking smash windows. And they do it all the time. Not only are they constantly wrong about these locations that they target, but they reject any notion that they're racist. It's like, why are you here? Well, there was brown people around here at once, someone told me. So I've come here to smash windows. Yeah. Fucking scumbags. Literally the scum of the earth.
Patriotic Englishmen, eh? So, also, I'm not going to... I just want to say that Andy, our mate Andy in the Discord, has been working hard today, and he brought together a bunch of links for me, some of which are concerning members of UVF, Northern Ireland's Ulster Volunteer Force and stuff, turning up in Scotland to help inflame Scottish fucking protests and demos and stuff. And there are links between the UVF, the Scottish protesters, and some of the English extremists. So I'd like to, I don't want to put it up now, Andy. I think I'd like to work a bit more on this with you, mate, if you don't mind. There are some...
Speaking of which...
quite scary links appearing here, with those at the top from Ireland, Northern Ireland, from Scotland, and from England, all getting together now over these riots and stuff. So I'd like to keep an eye on that, but with your help, Andy, if that's all right, I won't do it today, but we'll do it another time. We'll do it maybe next, I don't know, in a few days. Give us a few days and we'll sort this out. And we can lay out, I think we'll be able to lay out some links like we've had links before of
Absolutely. Also, as well, there was something that I needed to do. I got a message. Speaking of Andrew Luke, go and subscribe to Andrew Luke. He's an absolutely. That's at Andrew Luke. Oh, one word. He's an absolute legend. And yeah, I was a bit busy today, playing catch up with some of the stream stuff. But yes, I will be chatting with you, Andy, as soon as this stream ends, if you're free, and we'll get some stuff done. I know that you reached out, so I will be making sure that I do that. Sorry, I got properly busy and distracted today. But on that note, while we're talking about the far right and everything, I reckon that we should. Hey, look at that, already subbed. Nice. That's some. If you're not already, guys, make sure you go and do it. And he kicked himself out. But when he gets back, though, we'll switch into the far right stuff. And we'll start introducing you to some Nazis. We're gonna have a nice, chill, shorter stream today. And as serious as the subject is, we're gonna try and be chill. We're gonna try and woo-saw our way through it, and then see what's what. There we go. He's back now. Perfect.
Yeah, blimey.
So I think, if you don't mind, Dad, I'm going to I'll take the lead on this one, and we'll jump into some of the research and things that I've been doing.
Oh yes, please.
For the Nazis everywhere. But before we do, let me just make sure that I've got everything in order. We're going to plonk this on, and then at the same time, we're also going to, if I can find it, hit this. Hey, there we are. We love a bit of that. So, Nazis. There are Nazis everywhere in the UK. We, myself, my dad, and the ACOB family have been examining, so to speak. We've been studying the far right for quite some time now. And at first glance, they do seem to be a mixture of individuals and groups that are all pulling in different directions, or even actively working against one another. We've seen that, but it's not the bigger picture. So if you zoom out, you'll see that they're part of an ecosystem that can be broken down into different tiers. These tiers represent the various and crucial roles that keep the ecosystem alive and well, essentially, in a modern digital age. These 5 tiers all help each other, and they all depend on one another to exist in their current form. The tiers are as follows. Tier 1 is your establishment figures. These are the people and groups who are able to inject far-right talking points into Parliament and shape the conversation that the ruling class has around certain topics and policies. And because of the prestige of Parliament, anything said here automatically gets coverage from the mainstream media. It then becomes legitimised at an institutional level, and then becomes distributed to masses as just another legitimate side of an argument, which of course it isn't. Then you've got Tier 2. These are your mobilisers. They use the normalised rhetoric from Tier 1. They amplify it and they hijack any grief stories to organise physical events, which generates funds for them and also helps the other tiers in networking and generating their own income. It's a beacon to racists and bigots of all description, and it gives them a place to operate together, essentially. Now we get to Tier 3. Tier 3 is the fringe bigot political parties. Think Tenconi and his brown shirts. This grouping of racists are trying to become establishment level. Their defining feature is that they are looking for electoral validation. They stand for elections, echoing the rhetoric of Tier 1, but in a more extreme manner, and they advocate for extremist policies and use these events of Tier 2 to gain more voters and members and donations and things of that nature. They are similar to sort of Tier 4, but obviously they're looking for the electoral validation. That's the defining feature there. So then we get to Tier 4. Now, like I said, they're very similar to Tier 3, but these guys are not pandering to any potential voters. They say the quiet bits out loud, and proudly so. This is the extremist cells sort of category, if you like. This tier is made up of the outwardly neo-Nazis who believe in the most extreme ideologies and are actively preparing to fight. They push ideas like racial holy war and the day of the rope. Lastly, in the tier, tying all up together, we have Tier 5. This is the auditors and vloggers. They're the backbone of this structure. They're the sort of filter creatures, if you will. They eat up all the shit from the others in this pond. They turn that shit into highly consumable content, essentially gaming the algorithm, which favors extreme content, and they serve to amplify and platform all the members of all the tiers that we've just talked about, to considerable audiences. It's quite scary. Also, that they can get clicks and views thanks to, modern social media algorithms. All of that behavior will be monetized. And that is a very rough outline of the structure. I could literally spend days talking about the interconnected nature of the structure and how one depends on the rest and how they all depend on each other to function. but that's going to take a long time, and I am writing a paper on it, so you're going to have to wait for that to come out. Instead, what we've been doing is we've been looking into the structure. We've been looking at the tier system, the various actors and the roles that they play within that tier, so that you, the viewer, can get better equipped when it comes to understanding the far right. We've done a couple of streams so far. We did a 2-parter dedicated to far right vloggers that call themselves auditors in tier 5, and this stream is going to be dedicated to the various figures and networks and organizations that make up tier 4. So this is the neo-Nazi stream. Welcome to the fun side. And before we crack on properly, I just want to say thank you very much to Crowcrack for the 5 gifted members. That is absolutely fantastic. It's really kind of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. It's amazing. It really is. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your generosity knows no bounds, and we really appreciate it. Dad, can you change your avatar? It gets well confusing. I had a comment about it.
Oh, okay. How did it? Okay, no worries. I shall.
You see yourself at the bottom. There you go. Perfect.
Bark.
Nice. What happens is when you leave and come back, because we share an account, it just uses the last avatar that was used, which is my one. And so when you go and come back, it replaces it. It does. It's stupid, but never mind.
Okay.
So the individuals that we want to look at today, I'm going to while we're talking, I'm going to upload an image to stick in the background, so we've got a rough view of the people we're talking about. We can see their faces, and we're going to go through some articles. We're going to highlight, I think, about 5 figures specifically from within this cohort. We'll explain who they are, how they operate, and where they fit into this particular tier. Now, luckily, a lot of this work has already been done for us, thanks to places like Hope Not Hate and all that other stuff. It's really, truly, they've done a lot of work here, mapping and navigating their way through the modern neo-Nazi scene. But we also have got a few gaps that we're going to fill in ourselves. So, where is it? Where is it? There we go. I'm going to hit.
Just before you do, we've got another membership thing, donation. I can't flip in.
Let's have a look.
Please have a look, yeah, because if I touch a button, I'll break.
I'm so sorry. Everything is crashing. You're going to have to bear with me. I can't see anything for the next couple of minutes. It's so hot.
The world's crashing around him. Agent.
Hey, boom. We got another gifted member this time from Agent at 47 LFC. I mean, we're not too keen on your choice of football team, but we love the fact that you're a Sunday lefty.
Don't you believe that one, boy? You get your bum smacked for that. YNWA, mate. You'll never walk alone. Bring up Liverpool. Bring up Liverpool to the sun.
So that's overlay. I was hoping to do background. So let me do that. Let me inject background instead. But these are the characters that we're talking about today. All right. And then I'll use that as a background instead of an overlay. But you can't see it because the overlay's still on. Look,
even if you took all those heads and put them in a mixer, you put them in a liquidizer and buzzed them up, you still wouldn't make one handsome one out of all those, would you? No, Dad. Okay.
You'll never walk alone. Oh, shit. Another fucking hell, man. These guys have
been very kind of you. Thank you very much again, man. It's really...
Thank you. Thank you so freaking much. It's super generous of you. Another whopping 5 gifted members. Thank you so much, Andrew. We really appreciate this.
Speaking of whoppers.
It really does mean the world.
Speaking of whoppers, these pictures.
Speaking of whoppers.
You've got a whole picture of whoppers
there is
there.
an interesting article that was created by Hope Not Hate about Kai Cunningham specifically. About what he's up to. So like Kai Cunningham,
right.
Let me flick over here to the news. And this is just 3 days ago. So this is a fairly updated take on it. In fact, no, that's not even the article that I wanted. The Rise and Fall of White Vanguard is what I wanted to listen to, mainly because we can press it and we can actually listen to it. So this was done January this year, I believe, and it's talking about the Rise and Fall of White Vanguard. So Kai Cunningham, if you're looking at this screen now, he is to the from my perspective, he is the one on the far left. Even though he's far right, he's the one on the far left with the long hair, the blue glasses, and the cap. He's not really got long hair. That's just kind of coincidentally happened as I put him on that particular character in this.
They're lovely. They're like a posy of flowers, like a posy of wrong flowers, aren't they? Like a bouquet of bad heads.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can see a picture of him here. This is Kai Cunningham, right? So this was him at the Britain First March for Remigration in Birmingham, 2025. This particular article was created January this year, and we're going to have a listen to it, Dad.
Oh, go on.
Hello and welcome to Radio 43. This is the podcast from Hope Not Hate. And on this episode, we're talking about the rise and fall of White Vanguard and how this neo-Nazi group tore itself apart.
So before we get into exactly about the White Vanguard, you know what? It might be useful because I did a little bit of research about Kai Cunningham, and from what I understand, he started off, sort of April 24, he started off in what's called the Youth Alliance. So the Youth Alliance, if I can get this information up here. Sorry, there's so much shit to go through. This dude is like a treasure trove of Nazi stuff. So yeah, his first documented organisation in Cunningham's trajectory is the Youth Alliance, the YA. So Hope Not Hate has dated the emergence of this particular group to April 2024, and it describes it as a small, explicitly anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim youth organisation, which was subsequently renamed the National Socialist Youth. Think of where the National Socialists have been used before. When we say outwardly neo-Nazi, we fucking mean it, all right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
100%. He went from the Youth Alliance. He was a member of there, where he ended up meeting Alex Yerbury. He was photographed by Searchlight magazine. They reported on it. He's the leader of the National Rebirth Party. Searchlight explicitly describes Cunningham as having been a Youth Alliance member at that point, but had just started to make his way over. So I'm just having a look now. The Youth Alliance, that's his like gateway into the far right sphere, if you will. That was his neo-Nazi turning point. I'm just trying to find out. I did have a list that was put together by the Red Flare. It was reported on by Novera Media, I believe, and they were talking about the connections that they had. So they were connected to Patriots of Britain, elements of Tommy Robinson's network. This youth organisation was connected to the South East Division, which emerged from the Democratic Football Lads Alliance. They're attached to Turning Point UK, various local neo-Nazi groups, the North East Frontline, and of course the National Rebirth Party, which is where he met what's his name, Alex Yerbury. Now, what's really interesting about the history that I learned about Kai Cunningham, Dad, you're going to love this, right? So, this man stated that he first got political, so to speak, during his time in the army. And he was seeing atrocities all around Britain. All around Britain. But wait, the army don't go around Britain, per se. The army usually...
I mean, they're all stationed around Britain.
They are, aren't they, when they're doing their training and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, different regiments are in different towns and stuff outside.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
what did he say he saw?
Well, he saw atrocities that were happening in the UK to the
When
white.
was he in the army?
When he was in the army, Dad, he never left the barracks. In fact, he never even completed his training.
Oh, right, okay.
So, it's important to mention at this stage that Kai is genuinely a Walter Mitty. He says that his time in the army radicalized him, but what he actually means, with further investigations by several anti-fascist watchdogs, including reporting on some of the various interviews that he gave to other various outlets, that actually what he's trying to say is he was radicalized from watching his phone from within the barracks before he quit the army, before ever even finishing his training.
Well, there you go. So, but he said he saw atrocities all around. It's probably because he got up too late for breakfast. And you know when you just get them sausages left over and the horrible ones nobody wants? I guess that might have done it to him. Okay, so, I mean...
That's him.
Keep out of the way of people that have served, I guess, because they'll probably fetch him a clout for that. for being a Walt committee. I mean, you know, it's serious shit being a Walt. It really is. Pretending you fucking actually put your life on the line for, you know, when people have actually fucking done that. It's just wrong, and it gets people really pissed off. Really pissed off. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. I hope everybody finds out.
Well, no, everyone does, even other far-right fascists. This is why we're talking about Yarbury as well, who was the head of the National Rebirth Party. Because those guys actually, before White Vanguard emerged, the National Rebirth Party and what's his face, Kai Cunningham, had a big falling out. Alex Yarbury, the guy who runs it, he was calling him outright a Walter Mitty for trying to imply that it was, you know, his military service that saw him being, you know, radicalized, and his military service is the way he is, and he constantly talks about the service. The fucking never completed basic training.
Wow. And that's the trouble with doing that, you know, when you do that in this country, because there's a lot of people. There's not a lot of people in this country altogether, is there? So there's a decent percentage of people that are or have served in the forces. And when you start mouthing off like that, you're bound to bump into someone who will say, hang on, which regiment? Because I was in that regiment and I don't remember you. Or I was there at that time and I don't fucking remember you. Standing on the battlefield, just dressed in your undies and a bayonet. Fucking no. Yeah, you can't do it for long because you soon meet somebody who was there doing the things you claim to be doing. It's not a great way for a liar to go. There could be other ways.
It's crazy, isn't it? But we're all caught up to who he is, where he got his start, and we're about to learn about the White Vanguard, which was a subsequent group that developed out of the back of the National Rebirth Party and the Youth Patriot Movement. Well, fuck that, young Nazis, I don't know, Hitler's Youth, that thing. But as of January, the White Vanguard was being headed up by Kai Cunningham. So we're just going to give this a quick listen and see if we can get ourselves...
So the neo-Nazi group White Vanguard has suffered a major split. A series of calamitous errors has cost the group half of its membership, forced a change in leadership, and left its future uncertain. Since launching last March, White Vanguard has distinguished itself through its confrontational approach. Aiming to usher in a national and socialist revolution, the group's 20 to 30 core activists drilled martial arts, hijacked public protests, and intimidated local politicians while clad in black uniforms and balaclavas. However, momentum collapsed last December when internal tensions boiled over into a mass walkout, triggered by the arrest of co-leader Kai Cunningham. The handling of the arrest, as well as disdain for the other co-leader, Harrison Laworthy, has left the organisation half the size and even without control of its own website.
They don't even have control of their own website. Oh, so Kai Cunningham went off to be the co-leader of the White Vanguard, which was a tiny neo-Nazi, fairly militant, outwardly fascistic group that were training each other in combat, essentially, to be able to fight the fight, whatever that means. To be able to, I guess they're expecting.
I think we saw. I think we saw a little demo of that of their training paying off the other day when the raise the flag guy, Mr. Man-Bun, what's his name?
Ryan Bridge.
Ryan thingy, yeah. When he was walking into a protest recently, he had a bunch of his mates with him, and then he was going like, "I'm going to be." That's when he had to pass on his cocaine in case he got arrested. There's a thing about it. Have you got that on you? And he's passed that to him, knowing that he was going to get pulled. But these guys kind of formed round him, and as the police approached, they all started shouting, "Box section! Box section! Box section!" And the police just walked straight through and grabbed him anyway. It was so funny. I'm sure that, I mean, it's around, the film's around somewhere. You'll see it, I'm sure. I'll find it one day and we'll play it. Maybe next time. But yeah, that's their military training paying off. Box section.
Was that the White Vanguard, or was that Raise the Colours? Because they're completely different things.
That must be Ray. I don't know who was trying to guard him then. It was like it was a military operation. They surrounded him, shouting "box section," and then watched as the police just reached past him and grabbed him.
But back to the White Vanguard. These guys,
that wouldn't have been them, right? That would have been the other lot. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But no, so the White Vanguard essentially are sort of like they're a sort of pseudo militant group that are training themselves in gyms, around just getting sweaty, men around other men, because they're concerned about where the country's going, and they're preparing for some sort of fight, for some sort
of gym wars. Yeah. The enemy's going to come with those, the big sticks with a big soft thing on the end, and they have to stand on something tall and knock each other off. That's what they're training for.
Essentially,
gym wars. Yeah.
Firstly, let's take a look at who White Vanguard actually is. They emerged from the remnants of the Youth Alliance, a Christian nationalist outfit that launched in 2024 and folded within the year. Youth Alliance, which initially had an anti-Muslim focus, sought to attach itself to the Tommy Robinson-led protest movement before radicalizing into extreme anti-Semitism. The group dissolved following the riots that swept the country in the summer of 2024, which it had openly endorsed. Regrouping under the White Vanguard banner, Cunningham and Leworthy modelled their new organisation on the Australian National Socialist Network. Venerating that organisation's leader, Thomas Sewell, as a Hitler-like figure, White Vanguard borrowed the group's uniform of black Helly Hansen jackets, the logo of which, HH, is seen as a reference to Hitler.
Yeah, do you know, it must be, could you imagine, right? They're all sat around at a table in some sort of corporate meeting, and they're like, guys, we really need to do something about our image, all right? We here at Helly Hansen are about outdoors sports gear that will keep you safe from rain and all weathers. But the Nazis,
I know,
they're gonna have to change it from like Helly Hansen to like fucking like Smelly Hansen. Let's SH.
Just put make it NNHH, not Nazi HH.
Do you know what you should do?
What?
Helly Nelly Hansen, so that the acronym would be HNH, like hope not hate.
Woo! Where's me thing? Hang on.
Write it down. Get in touch with Helly Hansen. He needs to stick an N in there.
You've earned one of these for that.
Oh, that's the gong.
So
there you go. If I were Helly Hansen, just drop an N in there somewhere, and then the racists will drop that shit.
HNH, that's funny. Just hold them down and write it on with a biro when they're not looking. or like,
it's so funny though, aren't they? They're literally like their coded references and things are so dumb. They're like, oh, Helly Hansen. Well, let's get that. It's like fucking
Helly Nelly Hansen. What are you talking about?
They're acting like Helly Hansen is like a popular clothing brand.
Helly Nelly.
Helly Nelly Hansen.
I think it's brilliant. We win.
Helly Nelly Hansen, HNH. It'll stop them using it, but obviously this has been co-opted. But they're acting like. Do you think it's just because they're broke? Like they can't afford Hugo Boss, because Hugo Boss is a thing and is actually associated with Nazis. It would make more sense for them to co-opt Hugo gear, but then again, it's more expensive. So
it's really smart though. They do cut a dash in their German uniforms. Dear me, these guys are just stupid as a stupid does.
Yeah, thanks to Hope Not Hate, what we've learned so far is that apart from looking stylish in Helly Hansen, these Nazis are essentially a regrouping of the youth movement, the neo-Nazi youth movement that was established and then died within a year that Kai Cunningham was a part of. It later re-emerged that group is kind of reformed into the White Vanguard, and that's pretty much where we're at now. So let's see what else we can learn about Kai Cunningham and his group, the White Vanguard.
Contact between the two organisations has since been established. The group also mimics aspects of the active club network, requiring members to physically train 3 times a week in an effort to cultivate a disciplined, elite activist cadre. White Vanguard gained its first taste of publicity at a Britain First march in Birmingham last May, with footage circulating on social media of Cunningham bellowing into a megaphone about National Socialism. Cunningham, a would-be corporate lawyer and former Reform UK member, became the public face of the group, a fact that would cause internal jealousy over time. Establishing a small but active presence in London, the south and north of England and Wales, White Vanguard continued to hold media baiting stunts. This included banner drops on the steps of the Senate in Cardiff and outside the MI5 headquarters in London, as well as at the Australian embassy in support of their hero, Thomas Sewell.
this fucking bullshit now. Where, you know, when they keep going to these cenotaphs and things, Nazis are going to war memorials.
I know. I
trying to
fucking hate it.
support for their cause.
As an anybody, never mind having fucking worn the uniform. Fucking that is so fucking disrespect. Nazis at fucking the cenotaphs. That is to me. I'm old man, old memories. Fucking that's absolutely outrageous. I can't fucking believe it. Honestly, fucking can't believe it. How can you? You cannot be a patriot and a Nazi for a fucking start. The things just don't go together. They're like fucking oil and water. Each one excludes the other. It's an impossible fucking position to be in.
It's not even like we're in a unique situation either, with two British people that are completely opposed to Nazism and think that it's completely unpatriotic. We're not unique, right? So in our family, I want to talk about good old great uncle Frank, our Royal Field Artillery, right? He was shot by a Nazi from behind in the jaw, I believe, and then there was this whole paperwork about his wife trying to go through the system to be able to get his pension and things, because technically didn't die in battle, he died of starvation.
That was actually my granddad. That was my granddad.
Your granddad, right? Okay, there you go. Your granddad, Frank. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that, like, this is the UK, this is Britain. The thing that these neo-Nazis need to get through to their head is that we are all descendants of people who died and killed fighting this specific ideology. If these people have origins and heritage within this land, then almost undeniably their grandparents or their grandparents' parents or whoever, they would have fought in these wars against them too. I can only imagine that these people are turning over in their graves to see their grandchildren worshipping people like Hitler and his ideology, knowing full well that they died to fight against it. Specifically, that it's just the single most unpatriotic, anti-British thing that you can do in the UK. It's to be a Nazi. There is nothing else more unpatriotic than that.
Yeah. Nothing further away
from flag. You could dig up the Queen and it still wouldn't be as unpatriotic. You could literally do terrible things, like of all the
stop. You could do terrible things. It's worse. It's worse than all of those things. Like you let your mind. Yeah.
You could finger a corgi and it still wouldn't be as unpatriotic.
That's going to get him shouting at you. I
swear to God, yeah. Like,
no, it is, and it's outrageous, and it is outrageous. I mean, people are coming. Stories are going to start coming in now of people's relatives. That particular granddad had his jaw shot off, and he eventually starved to death. It took a couple of years, but he starved to death. He couldn't eat properly at all from that day on, and over a long time back home. He died of starvation, pretty much.
I'm sorry to joke. I don't know if I missed this. Just in case I did, thank you so much. A generous 5 gifted members from Andrew Luke came in. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. I don't know if we saw that or if we didn't. But thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate it, dude. Honestly, thank you very much. Thank you. Kevin Logan has taken over the stream. Do you know what? Just because we were talking about Kevin Logan, give me a minute. It's a bit of a tangent, but it is worth it. Just give me a second, Dad. This is going to make you laugh like fuck. Bear with me. It was, oh God, where was it? It was a bunch of... Right, okay. So I'm going to try and see if it does it this time. This is so funny. Let me see if it does it.
Gas safe. Corgi. See what you did. I see what you did. Corgi. Registered. Should be bloody registered. I have no idea what he's up to, but...
Right, okay. I was just having a look. So I was having a quick gander on the internet and stuff for a giggle, and and I found so I typed in like a couple of books, not just to see if there was anything attached, see if anyone had posted or anything, just as you do, just seeing if it's out there, and then and then it was like a couple of books. It's like an anti-racist, anti-fascist channel on YouTube that is hosted by and run by Kevin Logan because we had him on that time. Yeah, according to Google, especially Gemini AI, they think that Kevin Logan runs this show.
Oh, we've been conquered. We've been Kevin.
We've been conquered by Kevin. Ah.
Oh, well. Fucking hell.
I've got a screenshot of it. I'll put it up in a bit when I find it. It was fucking
Looks like we work for Mr. Logan now.
We call him Gas Safe now.
It's all good stuff. So, yeah. What
Right, anyways, back to this. We're learning about the White Vanguard.
The group also tried to inject its neo-Nazi message into protest against asylum hotels, filming attention-grabbing confrontations with better-known figures. For example, Cunningham and Alex Hill, a leading activist from Kent, attempted to eject Jewish Tommy Robinson ally Avi Yemeni at the Unite the Kingdom rally in September, where Hill also tore up an Israeli flag. Unsurprisingly, the group attracted violent individuals. This included Jay Barlow, aka Glenn, who is also a member of Active Club London and has recent convictions for possession of a knife and racially aggravated harassment, on top of a 4-year prison sentence for GBH following a knife attack in a supermarket in 2018. By autumn, White Vanguard...
Oh, fuck me, this guy loves his knives, doesn't he?
Doesn't he fucking just... People are like that, though, aren't they?
But to be fair, it checks out. It makes sense, right? It makes sense that an individual like that is carrying a knife, and I'll explain why. It's not a good thing, obviously, and you shouldn't be doing it. But most, when it comes to these neo-Nazis, they have such an ignorance about certain things. And when you have an ignorance around certain subjects, it can be breeding ground for fear, right? So this person doesn't understand the world around him. He's a neo-Nazi. He thinks that white people are being replaced. Like he's going to wake up one day and boom, he's black or something. Like it's fucking... But to them, they really feel it. They really believe it. So as far as he's concerned, like, of course, he's got to walk around armed. He lives in this terrifying, scary world where, you know, people are trying to snatch his skin color from him and make him, I don't know, Muslim, I guess. Fuck knows. But, yeah, this is the world that they believe in. So I'm not surprised that these are the characters that make up this particular cohort of people, because they're afraid. That's where this stuff comes from. Ignorance breeds fear. Fear breeds hatred. And that's what this is.
Escalated to intimidating local politicians. In September, the group posted the details of a Peterborough councillor alongside the threat, "Traitors will suffer true consequences under real nationalist leadership." 13 masked activists subsequently marched through the town shouting "White man fight."
We get letters like that.
Before assembling outside.
Absolutely, we do, yeah. Do you remember this one as well, Dad? Listen to what it's saying.
At the threat, "Traitors will suffer true consequences under real nationalist leadership."
We're there.
13 masked activists subsequently marched through the town shouting "White man fight back."
Do you remember that? Do you remember the calls "White man fight back" and stuff?
Yeah. That was our friend Ryan, wasn't it? Was it Ryan? Yeah.
Ryan was, yeah, in and amongst these people, absolutely, yeah.
He was leading that chant, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Before assembling outside the councillor's home, as Leworthy delivered an inflammatory monologue promising total war to the camera. Activists also targeted Labour councillor in Boreham Wood, who had criticised the Raise the Colours flagging campaign, labelling him as a Zionist Jew and traitor, and hanging Union flags outside what they believed to be his home, although they had the wrong address.
They're so unreliable. So unreliable, aren't they? Remember that guy that got done for trying to kidnap someone at knife point? He knocked on the wrong door as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Danny Tomo kidnapped the wrong fucking dude.
I mean, don't live next door to criminals, people. It's dangerous because for all the daftest reasons. Because these people that come like to beat other people up they don't seem to use Google Maps or anything. They just charge straight in. It's somewhere here. This house will do.
Do you know what would be really interesting? It'd be really cool to engage in a sort of series of interviews whereby we go around to random people's houses, and then they could be like, yeah, so the far right broke into my home thinking that I was brown, and then I wasn't, so they left. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just fucking madness, man. These people are absolutely fucking mental.
Yeah.
Jew and traitor, and hanging Union flags outside what they believe to be his home, although they have the wrong address. Tensions and turmoil. We previously predicted that White Vanguard was unlikely to last long term. Militant elements were driving the group into an ever more radical direction, and it increasingly resembled national action, a neo-Nazi group that was banned under anti-terror laws in 2016. Cunningham's long-winded legal statements denouncing violence seemed unlikely to protect members when scrutiny intensified. Behind the scenes, tensions had been simmering for months. Many members were frustrated at Leworthy's egotism, immaturity, and argumentative personality had burned numerous bridges. The conduct of Leworthy, who often seemed more interested in spats with other fascists than pursuing the group's own agenda, alienated many recruits and is partly responsible for White Vanguard's high activist turnover.
Right, so I just wanted to... Now, this is where we start to apply the structure to this conversation here, because as this person just said, that, you know, they're actively pulling against each other, they're fighting against other fascists and things, and that is actually really common. The drama element of it, especially on like social media platforms and things, sells. The drama gets more attention than...
They all argue with each other. Let's encourage that for a moment. Keep going, guys. Keep falling out.
But no, but the argument itself is a vehicle for which they can get notoriety and things.
This is
this group is infighting, splitting apart, and all that. It's collapsed under its own weight, but it serves a vital role within the greater ecosystem. So other people in Tier 4 may not be, you know, other Tier 4 groups. You know, they may fall out, they may fight with each other, but when you zoom out, you see that they're not independent actors. The White Vanguard is not an isolated organization. It fits perfectly within this structure in a way that you know, they are a much needed draw for the far right. So when it comes to like, so let's start now. So you get Nigel Farage or Rupert Lowe, for example. They'll talk about how Islam is like a big sort of institution that is harming children and everything. It's this big, mean, evil, devil worship type thing. They describe it in all sorts of terrible, horrible ways. But because they're politicians, that then goes out to the mainstream. And everyone who has already been, you know, steady taking a diet of AI slop and bullshit from auditors, they'll jump on this stuff, right? It's been legitimized. It's in the mainstream news now because it was covered from then. Then you go to Tier 2, right? Tier 2 do not operate on behalf or with or even alongside Tier 1, but they depend on them to put this stuff out there in the mainstream because Tier 2 have very limited / no access to mainstream media outlets whatsoever. So they use the hatred, the normalized evil rhetoric that's being pushed by Tier 1, and they amplify it, they make it bigger, and then they use that to cast a net which will cover a wide spectrum of potential bodies to come to these physical events. That's what Tier 2 is about. Tier 3, they will turn up at these events, bring in all of their supporters with them, and potentially bring in other people who are on the fringes, who have looked at these parties and thought, you know what, that's for me, but I don't really know how to go about doing it. But then all of a sudden, a UTK event is there, and there you are, you're faced with Nick Tenconi, you're in the same crowd as him. Yeah. So they serve Tier 1. They serve Tier 2 by bulking up their numbers. They serve Tier 1 by repeating the rhetoric, and then they amplify and twist it to an even darker place. And they do so for electoral votes. Now, this is where Tier 4 comes into it. So if you're, I don't know, let's say that you're a typical far-righter, you're disengaged with politics. So whatever Farage says, yeah, sure, you know, it helps generate bodies that will go to Tier 2 events. But, you know, you're done with the establishment. You look at Tommy Robinson and you think he's a grifter and all this money's going up his nose. I don't fuck with Tommy Robinson. And then you look at like Nick Tenconi and you think you're good, but you're just too, you're trying for electoral viability. And I want a direct action group that isn't going to try and hide some of the quiet parts and keep them quiet because you want to be voted for and you don't want to be banned off the electoral roll. So like then you go to Tier 4. These guys exist for the stragglers, for the far more extreme, the hardline groups where voting isn't an option. Tier 4 serve a vital purpose within this structure because they bring a lot of bodies to these events whilst also using them to network and grow and everything else. So they're valuable to Tier 1, 2 and 3, specifically 3 as well, because you can go to them and go, do you know what? Neo-Nazis are too hard for me. I'll go to Nick Tenconi. So they all serve each other in that sort of way. And then Tier 5 at the bottom does it all. So I say all that to say that I think that Hope Not Hate have got it wrong. These aren't just isolated individual groups that are all fighting against each other. They all, even their fighting, helps the far-right ecosystem thrive.
I could see that. I hadn't thought of it like that, I'll be honest. Yeah. So when they fell out, who was it fell out over money recently?
That was, are we talking like Danny Tomo, Ryan Bridge, or?
Yeah, that was something like that. You're talking to me. That was over money, and that itself would have generated more money for them. The fact that they took an argument onto the internet made it very, very loud, and everybody, all their mates, joined in, and I guess there was more money for everybody. Proper grifting de la experience. Yeah.
And the structure that we've developed doesn't just encompass the sort of like the proximity and influence of these individuals, proximity towards fascism and things like that, and then the influence that they have in terms of like structural influence, like all the way at the top of the establishment. It doesn't just cover that, but it's also a structure of grift. Like they're all different levels of grifting, and all that grifting helps each other.
Yeah.
I have a nightmare coming up on the 22nd in Shrewsbury. Paul Golding and Ryan Bridge turn up to speak. Their School of Fish.
They're having face painting and activities. Oh, for fuck's sake. When's this? 22nd in Shrewsbury. It's
not face painting, it's face the colours.
So we need to
Absolutely. So we'll finish this now.
We need to swap them fucking face paints for car paint sprays. You know what I mean?
We need to swap it with skin dye so we can see them everywhere they go.
Yeah. Right, I've got a visitor arrived.
Don't worry about it, Dad. You go do your thing. We're going to quickly finish off who the White Vanguard are, and then we're going to look at some other neo-Nazi figures, networks, and individuals. Don't worry, do your thing, Dad.
Oh, my thing's got to be done. Yeah. Thank you very much for sticking with us so far, guys. I'm going to keep it I'll keep listening, but I've got to chat. So
don't worry about it, and I'll slip you right back.
I'll see you all later in the Dick's Ward, hopefully, in the Discord.
Yeah, there'll be an after party.
Love and peace, guys. Catch you later.
Love and peace, Dad. Love
Kick me off, son. There
you go. Boom. He's gone. It's just us now. All right. What fucking terrible things can we get up to while my dad isn't watching?
Those tensions came to a head in November following Cunningham's arrest on return from Northern Ireland, where he'd aimed to establish a new branch. Suspicions that he had cooperated with the authorities caused panic amongst them.
Also, as well, Kai Cunningham isn't just trying to go to the Irish nation to create another branch. But Nation.Cymru, I was reading earlier, also reported that he had been hoping to establish a new White Vanguard branch in Wales. On behalf of the people of Wales, keep your fascist shit and fuck off. We don't want it here. We don't want none of that shit. None of it. You are an awful, horrible, disgusted, divisive group of people who trade in division and horror and racism. Wales has never been about that. The Celtic peoples are a small people, but we're a proud people. And we reject fascism from the fucking soles of our shoes to the very tips of our heads. Fuck fascism. Fuck yous. Stay to fucking England.
The membership, and White Vanguard announced that Kai had officially stepped down from his position and left the movement for personal reasons. In reality, Cunningham remains at the helm.
That personal reason being that Alex Yarley, do you remember that guy we're talking about from the National Rebirth Party? Well, they butted heads, and he was exposing this absolute dribble stain of a fucking human being, Kai Cunningham, as being a Walter Mitty, pretending that he was in the army. And that's what, the atrocities that he saw in the army. The army's got a lot to answer for on it. It's that bad that it managed to radicalize an individual who never left the fucking barracks. He wasn't even actually a part of the army. He didn't even get through training. He said he left for personal reasons, which is also the same reason he said he left White Vanguard. Those personal reasons being that he's got a serious case of being a fucking wet lettuce. That's what he is, man. He's a fucking wet lettuce if ever I've seen one. He's got that bad. It's terminal. Sorry, guys. Nothing we can do for it.
Of the organisation. However, a mass walkout followed, with White Vanguard claiming in a further statement that its website is no longer under our administration.
A mass walkout of the 12 people. I don't know if you can call that a mass walkout. It's a walkout. It's more of a mild walkout. A minority walkout. There you go.
Lee Worthy was subsequently forced to step down from leadership to appease the remaining members. So, what next? Dewsbury-based Jordan Withup, aka Wits, is White Vanguard's northern organiser, and he's stepped into national leadership alongside Cunningham. The group plans to relaunch this month, but it's a diminished force, and it's unclear how long its few remaining activists will remain before jumping ship to other vehicles. White Vanguard's rapid rise and implosion follows a familiar pattern. Indeed, after Youth Alliance, it's the second organisation that Cunningham and Lee Worthy have both founded and driven into the ground within the space of a year. Militant tendencies, outsized egos, and reckless escalation may generate attention, but they also attract scrutiny, fuel factionalism, and hasten collapse.
So there you go. I agree with Hope Not Hate. I don't think that this tiny group of neo-Nazis is gonna do the stay. They're not here for longevity, are they? Let's face it. If you know, you know. But no, absolutely. Fuck them. Like, honestly, fuck the fascists. Like, the fascists are just... They are a parasite. They are absolutely a parasite. So there you go. That was Kai Cunningham in his little blue shades there. He's heading up White Vanguard. Now you know. Now you know who White Vanguard are. They're a continually fracturing force of Sith, essentially. Doing Sith-related business, I assume. But they're constantly falling apart. And aside from, like, you know, trying to target MPs and things like that, and their violent rhetoric and stuff, they are a relatively harmless group of knobheads, essentially. And as I was saying before, you know, Kai Cunningham particularly has got a very serious case of the wet lettuce. Yeah, so, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about them, but at least now you know who they are. So when you look at, like, auditors like AY Audits, for example, and you see him holding up leaflets for the White Vanguard, now you know exactly who they are, how they operate, and what they're about, right? So now you know. There you go. We're going to move on to the next ones now. Let's have a little look. Who's this bottom left here now? That's Mark Collette, isn't it? So let's have a look now. Let's learn together who exactly Mark Collette is. Now, Mark Collette, if you remember, he was... oh, I'm going to have to show you this image again, aren't I? He was in a relationship, wasn't he? Does anyone remember who he was in a relationship with? All right, let's have a look at this guy. Let's have a look at ex-BNP official Mark Collette. And this is his ex-missus, the one with the Nazi swastikas on her boobs. Not to be confused for... Wait for it. Wait for it. Not to be confused for Bruno, the Nazi from Batman. Oh my God, they got Nazi butt cheeks as well. I didn't even realise. But yeah, you can't tell me that one isn't the inspiration for the other. Like, I will never accept it. This person, I swear to goodness, is this person. And I know we've done this before. I'm sorry, I can't help it. But back to the main man himself, though. Let's have a look at Mark Collette. Let me, before we get into this one, there's some more semi-recent articles that have been done about him. We're going to figure out exactly who he is, what role he plays within the structure. Well, obviously it's tier 4, but what does that mean in terms of Mark Collette? So here we go. Let me share this. DC should sue. DC should sue them. I wonder if they could, like, legitimately. So this article is more than 7 months old, but here we are. Leading UK far-right activist spoke at a Russian extreme nationalist event. Patriotic Alternative, which is the group headed up by Mark Collette, addressed a forum along with ideologue described as Putin's brain. God damn it, these fucking people. And remember, these are the guys that call themselves patriots, right? So he's from a movement that's called Patriotic Alternative. Sounds patriotic, right? But he's at an event talking alongside a dude that's described as Putin's brain at a Russian extreme nationalist event. You don't get more patriotic, do you, than attending Russian nationalist events? So the head of a leading British far-right group spoke at a summit of European extreme nationalist groups convened in Russia by an influential oligarch linked to Vladimir fucking Putin. It can be revealed. The revelation has led to renowned concern among MPs over the Kremlin's links to extremist groups and its attempts to disrupt democracy and sow societal division. This is where it starts to get interesting because Mark Collette, and I believe Steve Laws as well, are actively or have actively at some stages tried to infiltrate reform by calling for people within their cohorts, within their ranks, who have clean criminal histories, who aren't openly known associates of this neo-Nazi group, to be able to influence and try and steer that group into a more neo-Nazi direction, if there is such a thing. But yeah, believe me, it can get more Nazi, trust me. And so, yeah, the direct involvement of Tier 4 going up to Tier 1, like, they're directly trying to infiltrate and do that, because reform is the ideal. It would be a beautiful symbiotic relationship between them in terms of patriotic alternative. They would love that. It would be the single best. It would be an establishment vehicle for them to be able to get their message across. But they're not standing for election themselves. These guys are purely ideological purists. All right, they're all about the Nazis. So, this revelation has led to renowned concern amongst MPs over the Kremlin's links to extremist groups and its attempt to disrupt democracy and sow societal divisions within the UK. Why would someone like Vladimir Putin want to support, to be a backbone of, to these groups? Like, why would the Kremlin be involved in these extremist groups? Like, what danger do they represent to democracy that Russia would want to see them? Because all of these groups, they all have something in common, right? In order for them to be able to execute their the type of policy and ideology that they want, they're going to have to first remove human rights, aren't they? They're going to have to take out the leftists. They're going to have to take out anybody that stands against them. And the same people that stand against fascism, that stand against Nazism, the same institutions that were created and legal doctrines such as the ECHR and everything else, all of that stuff stand directly in front of their ideology. So they have to abolish it first. Now, a UK without democracy, that's not a very powerful UK at all. That's a UK that wouldn't be able to challenge Russia in the current way that it's doing. And that's what Putin wants. He knows that Nazis make us weaker. He knows that nationalism isn't the answer. He knows that. And so he's trying his best to push it over here, which is why, like, half of all bots online are essentially Russian fucking misinformation bots. You know, these far-right fucking radicalization AI videos and things that you're seeing. Well, turns out a lot of them are coming directly from the Kremlin. They are working hand in hand to break British democracy. And when I say they, I mean the Kremlin and the UK's far right. We are seeing the rise of the international nationalist, and it's being funded by figures such as Vladimir fucking Putin and Errol Musk as well. Errol Musk was in Russia recently having a good old chat with Tommy Robinson. Like, what the fuck are those guys doing? Elon Musk's dad, you know, the weirdo that's banging Elon Musk's sister. Fucking disgusting human beings. But these are the racist, bigoted scumbags who have babies with their babies that they raised. These are the people who are pushing this because it serves them. It serves their capitalist agenda. It serves their fascist agenda. Democracy isn't good for business. That's why they're getting involved in it. That's why these guys are established now. That's why they're organized now, because the Kremlin's getting involved, because Errol Musk is getting involved. The event in St. Petersburg, the article continues, was addressed by Mark Collette, a long-standing far-right activist and founder of Patriotic Alternative, which attempted to exploit the summer of unrest outside asylum hotels in Britain. Of course it did. A range of groups from across Europe, including some of the far-right ideologues from France and other countries, also attended the inaugural gathering of the Forum of the International Anti-Globalist League. So, all of these people have come from around the globe to form a sort of cabal, if you will, together to talk, you know, a league, an international league. Some may regard it as a globalist league of internationalists to hate on international anti-globalism. To hate on international globalism, right? They are dumber than a bag of rocks to the man. They are becoming the thing that they hate. It's like the Flat Earth Society when they boast about having members all around the globe. Pride of place was also given to Alex Dungin, an ultra-nationalist Russian who has been described as Putin's brain and whose views helped shape the ideas behind the invasion of Ukraine. So when we look at the neo-Nazi scene in the UK, when we look at Tier 4, we've got to remember that they're not isolated individual figures, groups and organizations. They are networking both internationally and domestically. they are actively working alongside those who were architects behind the invasion of Ukraine, behind Russia's invasion of Europe. We're European. The Patriots are literally stood next to the fucking people who are breaking down Europe's doors. Honestly, you couldn't make this shit up. So Calvin Bailey, a Labour MP and member of the Commons Defence Committee, who had been vocal about Russia's hybrid war in Western Europe, said its links between Patriotic Alternative and Russia were the latest example of the Kremlin's attempt to use political subversion against Britain and other countries. He said, Russia considers itself at war with us. It absolutely wants to see systematic paralysis here and is eager to find ways of undermining the fabric of our nation. I couldn't agree more. That is exactly what they're doing, and it couldn't be more obvious. He goes on to say that the dovetails within the far right wants and what it believes. Sorry, let me do that again. The dovetails within the far right wants and what it believes. It's even more than just groups and individuals on the far right being used as proxies. It's even more than just groups and individuals on the far right being used as proxies. They are literally a vehicle for attacking the ideas that underpin our democracy, of course. Russian influence operations in Britain have ratcheted up in recent years, in addition to espionage operations ranging from arson to spy rings. Like, they're part of when I say that, like, Tier 4 and all these different things, they are integral parts of the broader ecosystem. I don't just mean domestically. Like, you can take the tier system, 5 through to 1, and you can apply it directly to the international team. So there is a sort of international nationalist elitist group, right? The funders and all that other stuff, people like Elon Musk, the one that calls Nigel Farage daddy, what's his name? George Cottrell. Christopher Harborn, the Thai-based crypto billionaire. All of these people would be the establishment figures in a global tier system. And Tier 4 is one of the many vehicles that they use. Obviously, they also heavily rely on Tier 2 mobilizers. We saw, going back to what I was saying before about Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson in Russia, like, it's integrally all linked together, and that's the point of these streams, to show you that they aren't isolated actors. They are all in this together. It's a structure, and once you know that structure, once you understand how they all work, you can see you can see how it works, can't you? That's essentially it. Once you understand the mechanisms behind it, you can see the operations as they unfold. Like, why? It seems really random, doesn't it? Why would Russia be anywhere near Mark Collette and Patriotic Alternative? What do they have in common? They're all part of a greater, broader ecosystem that's designed to bleach the fabric of the UK so that they can then further, defile it with their own sort of drawings and tapestry, if you like. So there have been calls for a ban on Patriotic Alternative, regarded as the UK's largest far-right group, albeit one that faced challenge from new arrivals. But Collette was once a young acolyte of the then BNP leader, Nick Griffin. Do you remember Nick Griffin? And he's now a veteran and far-right figure. He founded the group after splits in the BNP, because they always end up splitting, and they quickly became a home for the digital-savvy younger generations of activists. He confirmed to The Guardian he had attended the Russian event as an online participant, which is kind of fucking pathetic when you think about it. I'm here too on my Zoom. So Collette said that he gave a 3-minute speech discussing birth rates and immigration in Britain, because, of course, what else do these freaks talk about? And how white Britons would be reduced to a minority in future, and the Eastern European countries must not allow the same thing on their soil. Meanwhile, white people in the UK were, 87%? Collette said that he's been invited by the Brotherhood of Academists, a nationalist student movement operating in universities across Russia and occupied parts of Ukraine. Of course he has the fucking traitorous scumbag. I do not believe that Russia desires war with the West or with Britain, he says. What's more, I have never received any contact or payment from anyone within the Russian establishment. So the idea of myself or Patriotic Alternative being used by the Russian state is absurd. Meanwhile, let's go back up to this bit here where he was giving speeches at their fucking events. What is he talking about? Of course he was being used. This fucking guy. These idiots don't even know when they're being useful or not. It is a groundless suggestion. Bro, you literally were helping. Are you saying that you didn't help them out at all? Are you saying that you opposed them by giving speeches at their rallies talking about the things that they wanted you to talk about? They believe the conflict in Ukraine was stoked by a previous US government because of its desire to have a proxy war with Russia. God damn. Let's have a quick little look now, see what Patriotic Alternative are up to nowadays. Under the leadership of Mark Collette. So, Alternative. Let's have a look at some of the latest news. So 4 days ago, our friends over at Searchlight Magazine, shout out Searchlight, Nazis parade in Tamworth. Hey, look at their most read story. Today's most read. It's Paul Dunbar sending rape threats. Oh, sorry. Side tangentially, but it's there. Tier 5 characters, gotta love them, right? And there's a tier 2 right there. Neo-Nazi parade in Tamworth, defying Henry Novak's family and defiling his name. Couldn't agree with it more. Amir Mohammed is reporting, what an absolute legend. So a murdered teenager, Henry Novak's father, asked for no hatred in his son's name. Patriotic Alternative answered with a White Lives Matter rally where masked neo-Nazis strutted their stuff. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. So, black-clad neo-Nazis and supporters of Patriotic Alternative gathered in St. Edith's Square. Edith's Square? Yeah, some English place name I can't pronounce. Put a double L in there and we're talking, you know what I mean? Editha. But that was in Tamworth. When was this now? This was a couple of days ago. This was on the 8th of August, just 4 days ago. So they gathered there. They decked out in their HH-88 Heil Hitler jackets and masks. They assembled in defiance of the wishes of the family of a murdered teenager, because obviously, don't let the wishes of the family of a murdered teenager stop you from using that murdered teenager's death as a way to stoke up division. Why the fuck would they? It's not like they have any souls or anything. Jesus. They assembled in defiance of the wishes of the family of the murdered teenager, Henry Novak, in whose name they claim to be parading. They were just 20 meters from the town's war memorial. A war memorial established. There's a monument to the men and women who died fighting Nazism, which is what Patriotic Alternative absolutely represent. There is at least some comfort to be taken after months of build-up, cross-platform promotion, live stream adverts, and determined push by PA to prove that it still matters. Only around 70 people turned up. How fucking disappointing for them. So worse for the organisers, a good many of those weren't even PA members. British Movement, Remigration Now, Active Clubs and the West Midlands Resistance all sent contingents alongside two well-known Manchester faces from Alex Yarby's breakaway outfit, which split from PA 2 years ago. There was also a little mob from White Vanguard led by Kai Cunningham, there he is again acting out their teenage Nazi fantasies in masks and black uniforms. Strip all those out, and the PA's actual membership turnout was closer to 30. But this is why they depend on each other. So they all work against each other. But yeah, a crowd of 30 turns into 70. But they all work against each other. It's because they're not working against each other. As individuals, I'm sure, they all hate each other and they all, take over each other's events and things. But when you zoom out, they're actually serving to help each other. It was a thin crowd, padded out, says the Searchlight reporter, with a few families and a couple of snarling dogs, including a muzzled, harnessed XL bully, presumably there to give onlookers something to look at while Laura Tola spoke. Fuck my life. Fuck me in the ear with a pasty. Mostly, though, it was angry young men jostling for social media clips in front of a wall of flags, their aggression reading less like political conviction than a performance of masculinity in search of an audience, which is essentially what they're all doing. They are all scared little boys that are terrified of people. They've got different colours and they have hats and dresses and things. And they're from over there, but now they're here. These guys are literally scared of their own shadow. Oh, God, it's not white. So the rally's stated cause was the killing of 18-year-old Southampton student Henry Novak, whose murder has become a rallying point for the far right since a jury convicted his killer earlier this year. It's worth remembering that Henry Novak's own father said that he has publicly asked for his son's death to not be used to stoke division or hatred, and called instead for the case to prompt serious conversation about knife crime, which is the real issue. But it doesn't matter to these people. Like he could have been like, it could have been a gun related. It could have been anything. I mean, let's say anything happened. It doesn't matter. But because the offender fits a certain racial profile, that's all these people need. Because he was a black man, they will riot. If the person that stabbed him was white, it wouldn't have mattered. And that's the situation we're in right now. When we saw the horrible murder of Anne Whitcomb, for example, like had that killer been brown, riots everywhere. Absolutely no question about it, because the killer was white. Okay, now we need to talk about this in a different way, and then conversations happen, and then, the whole thing happened there. But the point is, no riots, and it's exclusively based on the profile of the person who's doing the attack, or whatever crime it is. Because remember, they don't care about this crime. They don't care about knife crime. They don't care about rapes. They don't care about sexual assaults. They don't care about muggings, robberies. They don't care about social housing. They don't care about any of these issues. They only care that they can use these issues, twist them into a hammer with which they can beat down minority groups. That is what these people are. That is what these people do. So held on the doorsteps of a church known for its work with asylum seekers and local community groups, the rally's location itself is a kind of insult. A genuine Christian approach, in the words of one observer, mocked by men who treat charity as a welcome as liberal weakness. The rally's isolation was a kind of insult, a genuine Christian approach, in the words of one observer, mocked by men who treat charity and welcome as liberal weakness. 15 minutes into the speeches, two things were obvious. First, the crowd was bored, visibly unmoved by the manufactured outrage from the platform speakers, and PA leader Mark Collett and the jailbird Sam Mellier. Salmonella, that's what we'll call him. That's that dude. Second, though, the unity of purpose Collett and Towler keep invoking was nowhere to be seen. Wide gaps separated the openly neo-Nazi clique from the wider fascist gang, giving photographers a clear shot of the normally camera-shy active club members dotted through the crowd. Steroid abusers, who it turns out are not hard to spot. I fucking love Searchlight. Oh, I absolutely love Searchlight. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there for now for the patriotic alternative group. But this is who they are. Their aims are pretty clear. Their function within the wider ecosystem of the far right couldn't be more obvious. They're not only stooges for the international nationalists of Russia. They're not only domestically known for their neo-Nazi work and their dwindling numbers, but they are something that we need to look at. They are serving a huge role within the broader ecosystem. They're not just isolated individual actors, even though they would rather be, even though they argue with and work against, in some cases, other fascist groups. But as we've just seen here with this particular protest, where you've got the White Vanguard and all these other members and everything else, like it helps PA, because from the outside looking in, you don't know who these different groups are. You just see Mark Collett and this larger crowd than it should have been. Right then. Who's next up on the list? Which neo-Nazi is going to get it now? We'll go over to Gavin Baker. Let's go to Gavin Baker. We're going to do Gavin Baker and then maybe leave out Steve Laws because he's so fucking boring. Even this neo-Nazi is just too fucking boring for me. We could look at the former Tory member, and I think we're probably going to look at Jack Renshaw and Ryan Ferguson together. So right now, let's go for Gavin Barker, right? Let's have a look at who Gavin Barker is. So this one is from Stand Up to Racism. This is an article that's a year old now at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. I'll find a newer one in just a moment. But here we are, standuptoracism.org.uk. And here we are, Callum Barker. And if you pay close attention here, so Callum Barker is of the Homeland. What are they called? Homeland, that's it. The Homeland Party. It was something stupid like that. Homeland Party. So if you look, the Homeland Party bought its own stage, bought its own thing. With send them back type of messaging written on here. And if you look here, hey, look at this. They're doing some advertising on behalf of AY Audits. Fancy that. Everyone's favourite Tier 5 character who also threatened to burn down a school and protector of women and children, AY Audits. Seems he's got some sort of connection with the Homeland Party because they're writing his tag, his online handle for YouTube, on their vehicle that they use. I mean, that's literally not just a physical vehicle, but the vehicle, of ideology and hatred and everything else. But no, they're actually attaching AY Audits there. I wonder what the connection is between him and this neo-Nazi group. But this here is Callum Barker. I said Gavin and I meant Callum. My mistake. He is making himself known here at the Epping protest that happened last year, was it? And this is the story of him and his Homeland Party. So Stand Up to Racism can exclusively reveal that a neo-Nazi party is central to controlling and organising the anti-refugee protests that have led riots in Epping. Activists from the Homeland Party, let me zoom in, are administrating the main Facebook group where protests are planned and advertised, and also produce the promotional graphics for the protest. So during the unrest in Epping, where Epping says no, it was supposed to be an organic gathering of concerned citizens, concerned locals who were just trying their best to be heard. Turned out that the groups, the online activism and everything else that gathered all of these people together, the various people that joined this particular protest, was actually the Homeland Party, the neo-Nazi group. They set up the Facebook pages pretending to be concerned locals so that they could entice more concerned locals to their cause. Homeland Party is a neo-Nazi organisation founded by former officials from the fascist British National Party, the BNP. Its leader is Kenny Smith, and former senior official in the BNP when the party was led by Nick Griffin. Smith is convicted of firearms offences in 2022. Nazis and guns, man. It's definitely not a combo that we want. But despite Homeland activists also leading chants and giving speeches at the rallies, they have sought to systematically conceal their involvement from local people. Sneaky motherfuckers. Because, of course, most people local in the UK, no matter which town or city you're local to, most of us are family that died fighting Nazis. Why the fuck would we join the Nazis? So, of course, they have to be able to conceal themselves. Callum Barker, Adam Clegg and Andrew Piper, all members of the fascist Homeland Party, are the only administrators of Epping Says No, a group on Facebook alongside Craig Kitts, the director of a local business called Trade Prints Recovery and Transport Limited. Now, this thing here where it says Epping Says No. Now, it's interesting that we see the moniker of AY Audits of Anthony Barnes on the side of this van here, because Anthony Barnes, whenever he was attending all of these events, also coincidentally named all of his coverage of it Epping Says No, which is the same title that was given to the Facebook group that was being run by the fascist party, the Homeland Party, right? Which are the same people that put his name on there. If I will give 1,000 internet points if anyone can prove the direct connection between the Homeland Party and Anthony Barnes. It's something that I'm definitely interested in. There are 1,000 internet pointies up for it. It is a huge thing that I would personally like to break on this channel. So let's get down here. So Barker has been, this is the individual we're talking about, central to organising the demonstrations outside the Bell Hotel in Epping, where he leads chants while standing on a platform truck provided by Kitts. Photos show him and other Homeland Party activists holding placards branded with the logo of the Nazi group. Barker has also made speeches at the protests. Fascist connections and deliberately hidden from local people. Although some local people attended and even spoke at the demonstrations, the main organising core appears to be the neo-Nazis associated with Barker. These fascist connections have been deliberately hidden from local people. Barker is a hardened neo-Nazi who has posted images that reference the numerical code 1488. You might also see that tattooed to Ryan Ferguson's fingers. another tier 4 bigot that we're going to get to soon. This code was invented by a US neo-Nazi terrorist, Eden Lane, who was involved in the murder of a Jewish radio host in 1984. The 88 represents the phrase Heil Hitler, because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. 8. The 14 refers to 14 words. We must secure a future for the white race and also for white children. So that's where 1488 comes from. If anybody has been watching the YouTuber Just Gone Viral, you will see him trying to falsely attribute this as being some Freemasonry stuff. Right? Now, Just Gone Viral is also a far-right content creator who exists on the sort of fringes of auditing, as it were, in Tier 5, and is currently making content that's going against some of the more extremist people, the people in Tier 4, which is unusual for an auditor. Normally they tend to, but again, working against each other only helps each other out. But this Just Gone Viral channel was trying to imply that there was some sort of secret cabal of Freemasonry. That guy's a fucking idiot. Don't believe him. 1488, as it's been, quite clearly listed right here in front of you, is a code that was invented by a neo-Nazi terrorist from America. Just want to put that out there. I did try and tell him that while he was, doing his preview, his premiere, sorry. But he spent so much time putting his video together, and he couldn't be any more fucking wrong. And a simple Google would have told you that as well. Fucking weirdo. Anyways, despite claims that protests are organised solely by local people, this is a local protest for local people. It isn't. The Homeland activists appear to have been sent from faraway areas. Ooh. Piper is a parish councillor in Market Deeping, a small town in Lincolnshire. Market Deeping is around 85 miles away from Epping. In January 2024, Piper posted a series of tweets that claimed it was factually true that the Jews run banking and government. What a fucking absolute piss breath. The other post cast doubt on the facts of the Holocaust, because of course you can't be, you can't be a neo-Nazi without denying the Holocaust. Clegg was also a previous Conservative Party member candidate for Lincoln City Council, and has been since a member of Homeland. He was then a member of Conservatives. He was part of a fringe anti-Islam group called the Orthodox Conservatives, which had connection to Tommy Robinson. Homeland is a dangerous Nazi organisation that was founded on Hitler's birthday, the 20th of April, which, by the way, we're taking that back, all right? It's not Hitler's birthday anymore. That guy's dead and he's dust now. He's ash, technically. Motherfucker set himself on fire. But, or had someone do it to him, I think. But the 420 is forever Weed Day in Hyde Park. Fuck you guys. Get patriotic, all right? It has been central to campaigns of intimidation and violence against refugees in various areas, including in Erskine in Renfrewshire, somewhere in England. Fuck, goddamn you, England. You need some better place names. But that's it. That's who they are at the moment. You're quite caught up to date. I think we've all got a good idea of who Callum Barker is and who the Homeland Party are and what they do. They pretend to be locals to stoke up tensions so they can bring people to make it look like this is an organic event. But it isn't. It's being run by Hitler stands and fucking neo-Nazis. All right, then, moving onward. Who else do we have now? We were going to skip Steve Laws because he's boring as shit, and I think we're going to go... probably skip that one on the left there as well. I think we'll go to the fun one. Let's go to Ryan Ferguson and Jack Renshaw. Now, we'll do these two together because we know who Ryan Ferguson is already. I've spoken about him before. He's the pinnacle of Tier 4. He is the perfect representation of what this category, what this cohort is and what it represents. He, like the rest of them, has deep connections and ties to the rest of the tier system, whether he's being supported by his friend and co-worker in online content creation, Paul Dunbar, DP Audits in Tier 5, whether it's him working alongside Tier 4 members like Ryan Bridge with Raise the Colours, or even Tier 3 figures, other Tier 4 figures, terrorists like Jack Renshaw. He's literally there. He's in a Tier 1 as well. So he's not... Do you know what? No, he capitalises on the environment created, the stochastic environment created by the establishment figures, although isn't directly associated with them, but he does use that, and the stuff that he creates is great for establishment figures because they can point at him and say, no, he's the real neo-Nazi. We seem less extreme by comparison, and the Overton window is shifted. Now we seem more acceptable. They need figures like this for them to seem like the sort of sensible establishment version of that. You know, the real legitimate no shit ones. That's essentially what their role is there. So Ryan Ferguson himself has recently, some time ago, did an interview where he was talking about his relationship with the guy you see on the right, Jack Renshaw. Now, before we explain any more about Ryan Ferguson, let's explore Jack Renshaw, because this will be important. So, let's bring you over to here. Just a quick Google thing. Who do we want to go to? Institution of Race Relations, MP Death Plot. Yeah, we'll go here. Why not? Let's do this one. So this is the Institute for Race Relations. I'm not that too familiar with them, although everything's kind of stopped at the moment. Oh. My laptop cooler turned off for a second. It might be too hot for the cooler. There we go. We're back. No, the fuck we'll not. Right. Although it might not even be my laptop. Actually, it might just be that page. Right. We'll go to Wikipedia for a minute. So, who is Jack Renshaw? Jack Andrew Renshaw, born in 1995. Christ, this guy's younger than I am. Is a British former spokesperson of the neo-Nazi organisation National Action and convicted child sex offender. This man is a paedophile. He also is a planner of the attempted murder of a member of parliament. Before becoming a spokesperson for National Action, he was an economics and politics student with a bright career ahead of him, I'm assuming, at the Manchester Metropolitan University, and he was an organiser for the BNP Youth, the youth wing of the British National Party, a right-wing fascist political party. We all know the BNP. His child sex offences involved contacting 13 to 15-year-old boys in 2016 to 17, sending graphic photographs of himself, offering them gifts, money and drugs to send him intimate photos and have sex with him, resulting in a conviction on 4 accounts of inciting a child to engage in sexual activity. On the 12th of June 2018, Renshaw pleaded guilty to preparing acts of terrorism with the intention of killing the Labour MP Rosie Cooper and making threats to murder a police officer. He didn't always start out like this, though. So as a child, he was born in Ormskirk in 1995 and raised in Skelmersdale, wherever in England that is. And as a child, Renshaw moved back to Blackpool and later became involved with the English Defence League, the EDL. The EDL had been popular in Blackpool since the disappearance of Charlene Downs. If anyone doesn't know who Charlene Downs is, she was the girl that went missing in Blackpool, obviously in 2003, and became a figurehead for neo-Nazis of all descriptions. They claim that her disappearance came by way of Asian and Arab takeaway workers who chopped her up and put her into a kebab. These same people who say that they are, using this tragic event as a reason to push their ideology are also the same people who refer to her as Kebab Girl. They don't give a shit about Charlene Downs. They keep pushing these false rumours that have been proven to be untrue. In fact, the individuals that worked at this takeaway actually managed to not only prove their innocence, but they then sued and won in a legal case against the British legal system because they were looked at as people cannibals, essentially. Give me a time machine and I'll fix. Oh, good God. Was that the year you were born, was it? God, everyone's so young today. Rest in peace, Charlene Downs. Absolutely. And it's so tragic to see, because we don't even know what happened to Charlene Downs. It's still a sort of open case, if you will. No one knows what's happened. I think it was ruled as a potential murder. I'm not too sure. We'll have to look that up at another time, I think. But rest in peace, Charlene Downs. What a sad state of affairs. So, moving onwards, though. While an economic and politics student... I didn't mean to hover over that. While an economics and politics student at Manchester's Metropolitan University, MMU, in September 2013, Renshaw became the face of the BNP Youth. In an interview with student newspaper The Tab, he claimed to have had an ethnic minority flatmate and some homosexuals. Right. And I'm confused. Is that him telling them that he's not a bigot because he lived with ethnic minorities and some homosexuals? I can't be racist. I describe people that I lived with as ethnic minorities and some homosexuals. Fucking hell. During his stay at university, 4 years after joining the BNP Youth, Renshaw decided to go canvassing. He was eventually forced to leave MMU in September following a university investigation regarding his incitement to racial hatred. Right, now let's skip past, because I don't really give a shit about his early informative years. I don't care how he became a Nazi, only that he is. He was a spokesperson for National Action. Let me come down here. There you go. In November 2016, Renshaw was facing criminal charges over incitement to racial hatred. He was part of the Golders Green March. The far-right blogger Joshua Bonehill Payne, who we've recently been hearing about, I think he tried to join the Conservative Party, didn't he, Bonehill? We were looking at him. He was the, yes, he was. Let me have a look now. Let me just, oh, damn, it takes me to another wiki page. But Joshua Bonehill Payne, it's interesting that he's being mentioned here because he was the one who Kemi Badenoch said was saddened to see leave when they were ousted, when he quit the Conservative Party quite recently. Because, yes, he was a member of the Conservatives. He was a candidate standing for them in the Somerset election, I want to say. God damn, my memory is terrible, but it's there. And he, so he had an interview with the far-right blogger and planned a protest against the Jewification of Britain. Holy fucking shit. And the occupation force of approximately 50,000 Jews in Golders Green. Golders Green, by the way, is also the site of the attack that happened not long ago where some fucking mental person went and stabbed a Muslim dude and two Jewish people. Yeah, so clearly this is a site of some significance when it comes to the racists and weirdos. So the heartland of London's Jewish community, yeah, I can see that. Renshaw pulled out from speaking because he was supposed to be at work. One of the other booked speakers was Jewish because he disapproved of... Sorry, I'm gonna skip on, right? So this is what I wanted to get to. This was the plot and the murder of Rosie Cooper, right? So we don't necessarily have to get into the details, but we now know who Jack Renshaw is, his involvement with National Action, which is now a prescribed terrorist group. Now, let's get into where Ryan Ferguson fits in with this. You see, Ryan Ferguson was a young boy when he was around this paedophile, Jack Renshaw. He was about 14 years old, I believe, when he joined or was at least affiliated with National Action. He spent a lot of time with Jack Renshaw, the paedophile, and I have no idea what went down between them, but it certainly left an impression on Ryan Ferguson. So, since the murder plot and everything else, National Action was disbanded. It was prescribed as a terrorist organisation. Ryan Ferguson and the other members were no longer allowed to sort of be in contact with each other, as it were. But I think that because he was 14 years old, he possibly wasn't arrested or even classed then as an official associate or figure of. He was being groomed, essentially, is how I see it. He was 14 years old around a paedophile. And it's, like I say, it's clearly shaped his political beliefs and his world outlook at the moment. But when Jack Renshaw went to prison, that wasn't the end of Ryan Ferguson's involvement in that particular side of the scene. Ryan Ferguson then went on to visit him in jail. And we believe it's multiple times, although he says it was only the once, on behalf of some of the other lads to get some answers to some questions, some of the other, prescribed terrorists. But since then, fairly recently, Ryan Ferguson was on a phone. He was on a loudspeaker and he was talking very, very, very loud. And it was caught on camera. We could hear what Ferguson was saying. And it was undeniably an update for Jack Renshaw. And we know it was Jack Renshaw that he was talking to, despite never seeing him or hearing his voice, because he greeted him as such. Hello, Jack Renshaw. Because he's fucking dumb like that. Yeah, he has, more than likely. But what we do know is that in fairly recent times, and when I say fairly recent times, I mean within the last sort of few months to a year, he has had direct contact with Jack Renshaw. And this is where it gets scary, because he was updating Jack Renshaw on the movement of Operation Raise the Colours. Operation Raise the Colours is a racist organisation headed up by a woman abuser and a man who's been investigated for a hit and run incident at the moment. A dude who's also wanted in a different nation for a scam he ran over there that ran into the millions, Ryan Bridge, right? It's also, we can also talk about the other members there, the murderers, the paedophiles, those that were involved in the racist deaths of others, those that smuggled people across the fucking channel, for fuck's sake. Raise the Colours is disgusting and filled to the brim with Nazis, so it shouldn't be surprising. But this Raise the Colours is quite widespread, right? And I'm shocked to learn that, at least in some way, Jack Ferguson, even from behind a prison cell, behind prison bars for being a paedophile and terrorist, is involved in Operation Raise the Colours via Ryan Ferguson. He was updating them on the movement, what they were achieving, what their hopes and aims were. And that's scary, because Ryan Ferguson at the time, they were out hanging flags. I'll just set the scene for you. Ryan Ferguson was out hanging flags with, what was that guy that smacked that woman? It was his son. Not Ben Cullen, the other one. I'm getting mixed up with my Nazis now, but they were out there with a bunch of other famous Nazis on behalf of Ryan Bridge, doing his work for him and doing the Raise the Colours thing, right? Under the banner of Raise the Colours, whilst also updating a paedophile terrorist that's in prison. Like, Tier 4 are possibly the single most dangerous characters here. They're not just stochastic, they're direct with their incitement. They're constantly training each other in gyms and active groups, which is exactly where Ryan Ferguson was groomed by the paedophile Jack Renshaw. And all of that framing, all of that horrible hostility, the war setting, the whole shebang, it all helps the far-right ecosystem develop and grow as one whole thing. So when we look at these individuals that we've seen here, whether it's Steve Laws, whether it's Mark Collette, whether it's Kai Cunningham, whether it's Jack Renshaw or Ryan Ferguson, they all directly work together in some cases, or indirectly, but they all serve a vital, key role within the structure of the far-right, which is why they have their own tier. Ooh, what was that? Did you not know that during his young years... Well, because this is the thing. No one naturally becomes a Nazi, does it? So you've got to be groomed into thinking that. You've got to be radicalized in some way. And it just so happens that Ryan Ferguson, I would say, yeah, he was groomed by... Look, this isn't... I'm not saying that anything sexual happened. I don't mean grooming in that sense. When I say he was groomed by a paedophile, we're going to have to break that down into what I mean now. So he was groomed politically, ideologically. It's at least likely that, a young boy spent time around a paedophile who had a thing for other young boys. It's very likely that something, or at least the odds aren't zero, and we don't want that. You know what I mean? It's terrible, and it's absolutely... So, I can... Okay, how do I explain this now? So Ferguson was at least groomed politically by members of National Action. He has current and recent contact with Jack Renshaw. To assume that it's Jack Renshaw because he met him when he was 14 wouldn't be a terrible assumption. But what I will say is that he was groomed by National Action because he was a 14-year-old boy, spent some time around. It's not a coincidence that he turned into a Nazi afterwards. Do you know what I mean? After he spent some time around it. Yeah, and he did. Jack Renshaw as well only rushed to do the terror stuff because he wanted that to be what he was remembered for. Because as soon as he realised and he was arrested by police and things and released on bail, he knew that he was under investigation for being a paedophile. And he didn't want that to be the legacy that he left. So he rushed to try and kill the MP Rosie. Something Rosie, I can't remember anyone. I'm really sorry. But that person. So that's what it was. He wanted to go down with a different, 100% accurate, as always, Jim Speak. Yes, he wanted to go down for a different reputation. But it has to be said, though, that, you know, that this young, impressionable 14-year-old Ryan Ferguson spent a lot of time around not just Nazis, but a paedophile Nazi. You know, and there should be questions there. I do genuinely, this is where, because I'm a human being too, and I do feel sorry for him. I mean, any 14-year-old boy that spent time around a paedophile that likes teenage boys, yeah, you've absolutely got my sympathies. It's terrible. It's absolutely shocking, disgusting stuff. To be 100% accurate, I'm only accurate around 70 to 80% of the time. Well, I don't know if there's a good 20 to 30% chance that that's shit, right? But no, it's certainly an interesting. Yeah, it is proper creepy behaviour. It's an interesting dynamic because Ryan Ferguson's introduction into the world of neo-Nazism didn't just start with your typical neo-Nazi. It started with a paedophile. A paedophile he still maintains contact with. Now, I'm not saying anything happened because obviously I would have zero evidence of any description. I want to make it clear. I am not saying that Jack Renshaw abused Ryan Ferguson sexually. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm just pointing out that national action is most likely to be the reason why this 14-year-old boy is radicalized. Right? Because it would be a hell of a coincidence if he just happened to be a Nazi and you know, and is you know, years from like 14 to 16 or whatever spent around a convicted terrorist group and these pedophiles and things. You know, it would be very, very, very strange if that wasn't the factor that drove him to where he is now. But that's where we're at. So yes, to answer your question, because obviously you were like, oh my God, he was groomed by Jack Renshaw. Yeah, maybe not in the way that you're thinking, but yes. And if you're thinking that it might be that, then, you know, the sexual thing, then that wouldn't be a terrible thing. Right, so eclipse is happening now. That is your, oh my God, it is weird outside. Oh my fucking God, guys. Holy shit. Right, the eclipse is happening. I'm going to go. Thank you all so much. I'll see you in the Discord. Love and peace all. Holy fuck, it's an eclipse happening. Oh my God, in here looks weird. Right, I'll see you there, guys. Lots of love, lots of peace. Meet you in the Discord after you've gone and had a look at the sun. But don't look directly at it. Peace.